Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Jared, I just saw your comment. Yeah, man, bring it. Come to the Sooner State on Thursday. It'll be fun for you. Thanks for the stars. You might want to save that for some gas money, though. That's getting a little expensive to travel these days. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Thanks for checking in here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, also on Rumble. Glad to have you here. We're up and running here at AT's Weather, so you've come to the right place. We're going to talk about what's coming up our way over the next couple of days on into Christmas. See what's shaking and baking. And the weather department, as you do know, we have a serious situation with some brutally cold areas coming in here. So it's kind of a life-threatening situation to where if you're exposed for any length of time outdoors, it will not end well for you. Also might have a few power outages, not expecting many. So you might lose heat in your home. So those are the kind of things you got to keep in the back of your mind. If you're traveling also and your car breaks down, kind of stuff you don't normally think of, you take for granted. That's kind of like always going to be the topic here over the next 48 hours, and put that in the back of your mind just to prepare. All right, so with that said, done, by the way, if you're on Facebook, you can hit the link I'm going to post right now in the comments section, so you can opt in to get notified when I do go live. That way you never miss a broadcast. I'll give you a direct message from my instant messenger to yours, and that way you don't miss out. All right, and let's go ahead and do this and this. And right here, temperatures. We are at 24.8 degrees here in my backyard. That's pretty cold. I mean, that's cold enough for me. I really don't need to be any colder, to be honest with you. But we're going to get a lot colder than that. How cold is it, right? How cold are we going to be? Well, let's take a look across the entire northern part of North America. I mean, we're almost up to the pole. Just kind of give you an idea. So we're taking to Alaska. We're from Anchorage, kind of north and east from there. They're in the mid 40s to minus mid 50s for temperatures. That's negative degrees Fahrenheit. It's not Celsius, that's Fahrenheit. Negative 56 degrees is an actual temperature at this reporting station. This one up here near Fairbanks is minus 51. That's nasty, and that's coming our way. Obviously, here across Canada, it's going to strike there first. They're already in the minus 40s in western parts of northwestern parts of the provinces up there. Which you travel southward into southern Canada, they're still into the negative 20s and minus 30s. Even Winnipeg, we call it Winterpeg this time of the year, they're in the minus 20s. Now, this is not wind chill value. This is just the actual air temperature. I could flip that on, although I don't think it's going to change much. I didn't look at it earlier, but it might be fun just to kind of push the button and see what happens. Again, this will be in Fahrenheit because probably the winds won't be that strong because it'll be kind of the center of the high up here in eastern Arkansas, so the temperatures really won't change much. Where there is a little bit of a breeze, there's minus 68. Ugh, for a wind chill. I couldn't even imagine what that was like, nor would I want to. But here in southern Canada, there's some wind chills down here. Saskatoon, minus 53 at this reporting station. There's a minus 58, so good grief, man. You couldn't pay me to live in that nonsense. All right, so back to actual air temperatures, where at least the numbers aren't so scary. Down here in the Great Falls area, Montana, eastbound, minus teens, minus 20s. By the time you're scrolling down here into our neck of the woods, temperatures moderate a bit behind this first cold front that came in for the last 24 hours. If you noticed, the temperatures changed quite a bit today, quite a bit colder. We're into the 20s here across a good chunk of Oklahoma. So that's kind of the round robin of what's up to our north and what is coming our way. And what else we have? We look at upper level disturbances in the atmosphere as far as like the cloud cover goes. This is the leading edge of a shortwave trough coming by. It's actually going to trigger probably, now its affects itself, but a combination of other things. We'll probably kick off a little bit of light, patchy, freezing drizzle tonight, tomorrow morning here in the eastern Texas panhandle, maybe far western, southwest Oklahoma. Just be advised of that. That's something new in the data. It's not a very strong signal, but just be prepared. Otherwise, we're going to look for more energy to dive in from the north and west, which will bring us a little chance of some winter precipitation along with those winds and colder temperatures. Now, if you do look at the country as far as the critical warning areas for the National Weather Service when it comes to snow, it is nowhere near us. So in other words, no blizzard, no blowing snow to create visibilities and whiteout conditions, anything like that. I did see a forecaster whose name I will not mention that like a week ago. I'm just like, that is, I give credit, for putting your neck out there, but a week away in the world of weather, when it comes to winter storms and blowing snow and blizzards, you don't want to do that. And this is why, because it ain't anywhere near here. It's up across the New England area and the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, so that's where the bukus of measurable snow will be enough to kind of bury you, in addition to all the other nonsense that goes with it, with the wind, etc. So let's talk about temperatures here in our neck of the woods. So obviously, tonight is a little on the chilly side, okay? Well, tomorrow morning, and a matter of fact, let me see here. I'm using the latest NAM, and that is so far out to lunch. In other words, remember, we're in the mid-20s, and it still thinks it's 30 degrees. The model's busted big time today, which I knew they would. Here's the HRR, which is our best model, and it's still busting by a few degrees. But needless to say, it got us in the 20s and 30s, which is why it'll probably bust tomorrow, and we won't get these lower 40s. I think we'll stay in the upper 30s for tomorrow, with quite a bit of cloud cover around. You probably see at least some brightness of the sky. If you're lucky, maybe a peak of some sunlight somewhere in the state, but otherwise I think a lot of clouds will be around. And then we focus our attention on what comes our way after that. Now here's the model showing you about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when it has the cold front moving through Oklahoma City quickly from northwest to southeast. I think this is about 3 hours too late, just so you know. Personally, I'm going for 1 o'clock in the morning, but temperatures fall quickly from these upper 30s to near 40 to right around 0 degrees by the time you head across the state behind the colder air. And temperatures will fall quite dramatically, so by the time you head out the door here in the metro on Thursday, it's already going to be in the lower teens and some single digits, falling quickly. So look how it's amazing how fast temperatures fall and how cold it's going to be. This is 9 o'clock in the morning. We're at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. That is not the wind chill. That is the actual air temperature. -1 in Ponca City. -1 in Bartlesville, up here in Liberal, Kansas, -5. And this is by noontime. So there's a little sweet spot there of late morning to early noon-ish where the temperature should be the coldest. And they'll try to rebound a little bit just from insulation from the sun, trying to offset the cold air advection from the Arctic air. But needless to say, we're going to be in the single digits across the majority of the state for your Thursday. And of course, as the sun sets, temperatures start to cool down once again, but still it's primarily here in the single digits. I do expect some, like I said, if you draw a line, let's just do it this way, roughly about like this for tomorrow. This is where you're going to have your numbers dropping below 0 at times for the actual air temperature. And of course, they'll be below freezing up here in Kansas. That's not a no-brainer. Down here, we're going to kind of hang into the lower to mid single digits, and then down here single digits to lower teens, at least for a little bit on our day on Thursday. So that's kind of how the temperatures will play out with this system. I like the icon model, the German model here, just to kind of give you a heads up on the overall picture of things. So you can't see that winter mix of precipitation that does move through Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, back into Colorado for a little bit. That's quickly scoots through on Thursday. So it's a here and there gone. It's a fast moving system. And it's moved out of this almost entire picture here by Thursday night. And it's off the races. Now, look at this little system that I talked about the last couple of days, showing up in the model data for Friday evening into Saturday morning. So Friday night, a little batch of snow. The timing or the placement on this is still suspect. The models have gone anywhere from this corridor down to this corridor. And that, it could mean a few flurries in Dallas, just like it's going to have some light snow, maybe possibly in this area here. But that's the signal. It won't amount to a whole lot, maybe a dusting to about 1 inch at most, but needless to say, that's on there. And then finally on Monday, another little system will skirt through. This model has a mixture of rain and snow. Earlier models just had it all snow here across Oklahoma. So we might get a little light dusting of snow with that. Depending on how temperatures look, this will come in the morning hours. So that would be where our temperatures are the coldest typically with that. So we'll have to wait and see if temperatures moderate too much behind the colder air. All right, now when we factor in the wind out there, there's going to be some gusty winds. Not nearly as gusty as what earlier model data had, which was about 60 miles per hour. Here, they're up about 50. So there'll be pockets of 50 mile per hour winds. Not a widespread thing, but kind of hit and miss with the most favored corridor kind of in this zone here for the strongest winds. So kind of like the southwestern quadrant of the state. Real likely to see those 50 mile per hour gusts. And yeah, it could be some brief weak power outages from that temporarily for any weak lines and maybe the cold air combination, maybe, I don't know, causing some stress on the materials. But regardless, the winds kind of stay up for Thursday night and a Friday morning. Still gusts up to around 30 miles per hour Friday morning, but then by Friday afternoon, things are much better. All right, now when you factor in the wind and the temperatures, you get, of course, the wind chill. So let's take a look at that. I want to zip on past tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow will be another chilly day. It'll feel chilly to you, and it's not as bad, but it'll feel like the 30s out there. So you're going to want to bundle up with a coat. And then here we go for Wednesday night and a Thursday morning. So there you go. You have temperatures dropping with the wind chill factored into the negative teens and negative single digits for your Thursday morning. Up into the northern parts of the state, there's minus 25 in Ponca City. So we're close to minus 30 out here near Woodward. Northwest Oklahoma still upper minus 20s. There's Liberal Kansas minus 31 for a wind chill. It's not a record. About minus 35 would be. So we're close, but no cigar, as they say. Then as the winds calm down just a bit overnight, you see those temperatures do moderate just a hair. You won't notice the difference. And of course, most of you probably are not going to be out in this anyway for Thursday night and a Friday morning, hopefully. And if you are, you best be bundled up. Okay, upper levels of the atmosphere, the jet stream pattern, we talked about this many times. Here's that system of the energy moving through in the cloud cover that we showed you here tonight. That's transversing the state. And then the next big push is all this energy that comes in behind it. But each model run in the last 24 hours has kind of shifted the jet stream just a little more north, what's coming like this. And every time that does so, it shoves all the snow, significant snow, out of Oklahoma and moves it farther and farther northern and east away from us. So boo, bah humbug, because I did want a little bit of snow. I didn't want a blizzard, but I'd take, some snow. But regardless, that energy does transverse on Thursday and kind of moves up into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, again causing all that trouble. Here's the other little systems we talked about Friday night and a Saturday. Placement on this, the center part is about here. Earlier data had it here, so we'll see if it stays in a more southward track. Then most of the light snow with that, or flurries, would be in this little zone down here. All right, and then finally we have the little Monday system. Let's see, it won't show up on this model. This is a short-term model, which only goes through Saturday. But there's more energy that'll ride up over the top of this ridge and come on down. And again, placement with that as to who will see a little bit of light rain or snow. Let's take a look at the big picture here. Look at the American model. There's that snow up across the northwest, coming on in with the passage of the front across the Central Plains states for our Wednesday night and Thursday morning. It's a strong high. It's at 1066. Usually when you get about 1070, that's kind of in the record books of surface highs, and that gives you your record-setting temperature. So we were very, very close, just 1067. They don't get much stronger than that, and we don't get them that often. So that's a good thing. All right, but the snow continues here across the Midwest Great Lakes. Some rainfall there across the Northeast. Some thunderstorms there as well. That high builds on in. It's a big high pressure, encompasses, remember this is the center of it here, and it kind of comes in with the cold air all the way down. It's the Gulf of Mexico. It's down into Mexico itself. It went far. But this is the perfect setup for that, and the perfect jet stream pattern really get that to happen. So let's go back and just reset. All right, so let's go forward in time from there. Let's see here. This is, by the way, the newest American model, so I hadn't even seen it until just now. What does it do? It doesn't have much for that little snow flurry activity Friday night and Saturday morning. Not surprising. It's a weak system. Then it has some little signal here on Christmas morning down here across eastern Texas. But these little weak signals come and go just for some flurry activity because of the cold air. All right, let's take a look at a close-up view so you can time this out here for you. So we're going to kind of skip on into the period of concern, which is going to be for Wednesday night. So this will start you off right about 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And as we go through time, you can see how that snow breaks out across Colorado and Nebraska. And you can see along the leading edge of this front is going to be that quick transition from light rain to a little bit of freezing rain and sleet. That's what this color represents from when it goes from green to pink to purple. It's a very thin band. You could call it flash freezing. In other words, it's going to ice over instantly on contact. It's going to be very, very light, but enough to where it could cause some slippery road conditions for the early morning goers or the late night goers. Just be very careful. You can see that extends down here into central Oklahoma and right here in Oklahoma County. But you can see all the blue on the map, which represents snow behind it. Matter of fact, the model's quite gung-ho on some heavier amounts of that little icing mix here just around the Tulsa area and southward along I-40 toward Fort Smith. So again, eastern Oklahoma, be careful with that passage of the front on Thursday morning. And there's that snow that moves through. Remember, there's not a big signal with it. I mean, it's not a big, heavy deal. Unfortunately, if you're really wanting that kind of stuff. Like I mentioned, might see a little bit of light icing out here in the Panhandle region tonight, early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, this model focuses on the central and eastern parts of the state for that light icing that will cause some travel problems if you are on the road during that point in time. Let's see. So let's go to the next one here. Snow. How much are we going to see? Well, I'm just going to show you just how many variations of the snow output there is from different models. So I'll just name it. There's model 1. And just focus, your take home here is to focus where the heaviest is and about how much. And then I'll summarize it for you. But there's Model 1, Model 2, Model 3, Model 4, Model 5, Model 6, and Model 7. I like Model 7 the best because, I'm a snow lover. This is the Canadian model. Usually does pretty good with snowfall amounts, so it still has a higher snow of 5 inches or so here in southwest Missouri, southeastern Kansas on up into Iowa. Still only about 4 inches in Kansas City. So they keep dropping the amounts here. That's about 5 inches rather. But here in Oklahoma, we're watching, again, Ponca City to Tulsa looks like about a 2-inch line in that region. And then that drops down to 1 inch between there and Oklahoma City with only a dusting to, if you're lucky, an inch here in Oklahoma City on the north side of town. I wouldn't hold your breath, but that's about the best we can get you in the model data. But again, northwest to southeast, if you draw a line in the state, I talked about this last couple of days. South and west of that line, I can't really promise you anything other than a few flurries. But along that line is where you start to get measurable snow and more snow the more north and east you travel. So that you're in a 3 to 4 inch range by the time you head right up along from just on the northeast side of Tulsa to the state line. So that's kind of how those snow totals play out. The European model does say that we'll get snow here in Oklahoma City, but it's not very excited about it. It's basically a 1/4 of an inch of snow, which is, again, just a dusting. The newest run of the American model, the experimental version, just almost took it all away, pushed it way up here into Kansas, etc. Boo on this one. I don't even want to look at that. But anyway, just showing it to you. And let's see, that is output from the 30th. And look at that. It's got some new snow that comes into the picture of another little storm system, which we'll have to take a look at later as we get closer, because right now it'll be all junk. Okay, so temperatures will be falling Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So not sure why they put an 8 here, just discredit that. But and I don't think we'll see 45 here in Oklahoma City. We'll probably be in the upper 30s. But regardless, by Thursday morning when you head out the door, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll probably be in the lower single digits, and then we'll probably stay there most of the day. And then by midnight, Thursday night, also kind of holding around 3 degrees. So that's probably the low right now of the consensus of the model data. Other runs in prior days had us around 0. So really the only thing they've done is kind of moderated temperatures just a bit, just a hair. And they could still be wrong. I mean, we could still be back to as low of 0 degrees. They're not going to be 100% correct in all this. It is a lot of guessing game when you're trying to moderate Arctic air. That's the source region is up into Canada. They just don't usually do very well. But regardless, get you the ballpark. And Friday, you can see how that's going to be a cold start to the day, into the teens. And Saturday, probably mid-20s, shave a few degrees off of this. And on Christmas Day itself, again, I think it'll be a little too warm on this display. So I'm looking more likely into the upper teens for a low. And then I'm looking probably into the lower 30s for a high in west central Oklahoma. I still think the metro may only top out about 29. Just depends if we have any cloud cover and just really how cold this Arctic area ends up being before it kind of moves off and starts to moderate. So then after that, temperatures do start to moderate. But remember that Monday morning slot? If we can get that system to come through here in the morning hours, we could squeeze out a little wintry, some snow here in Oklahoma City or central Oklahoma as well. So we'll have more on that as well. I'll still continue to track stuff through the week. And the only thing I was really sad at, I'm going to show it to you because, I give it to you straight, man. And it's sometimes you don't want to hear what I have to say. So this is a look at the vertical level of the atmosphere. Now, this little pink line you see here, let me see, just draw it for you, highlight it. This is the snow growth layer for our little system. All right, now this slot right here, this little up and down slot is the timing of the front. Now, what you do not see is green over here? You do not see green right here. So the atmosphere is very dry. There's not a lot of moisture to work with. There's some moisture down here at the lower levels, and that's what gives your light icing and your light flurries, but there is nothing upstairs to generate heavy, good snow. We have some decent lift, which is what these little red contours are. It's called omega, which is lifting the atmosphere. But if you're lifting the atmosphere of dryness and no moisture, it doesn't do any good. You can't wring it out to produce precipitation or heavy snow. So this is what saddened me when I looked at the latest data tonight. I was like, oh, well, there's always next time. It's que sera, sera. So there you go. That is the latest I have here for you on the data. So overall, no really significant changes. Just minor massaging, which is slightly lighter winds. Temperature's about the same. They could be a couple degrees warmer, but you wouldn't know this difference anyway. It's just for the numbers. And then for the snow amounts, again, just a dusting. If we're lucky, we can get an inch here around Oklahoma City Metro on the north side. I wouldn't hold your breath, but that's the best I can find anything in the data that would support that. Better opportunities for measurable snow as you go north and east from us. So that means Tulsa, probably a couple inches. Last night I thought maybe 3. We'll still only see. It could happen, but odds are the data keeps trending just a tad bit drier, a tad bit more north with that. So regardless, at least you'll have a little bit more snow than us, but it'll be very dry. It'll be like blowing snow, very fluffy. Doesn't really, you can't really make a snowman with it. So I'm not sure what you do it. Otherwise, just look at it and say it's pretty. And there should be some leftover snow on the ground for Christmas Day. So technically, you can say that we'll have a white Christmas for some of you. it's semantics, but hey, it is what it is. But that's that. All right, let me look at comments here real quick. To see if anything I missed. And if you are traveling, obviously Thursday is the nastiest day to be doing that. As far as the wind goes, then the visibility at times probably, and just the cold air, especially if you break down. Things are better obviously on Wednesday or Friday. Even though Friday will still be cold, it won't be as brutal with everything else combined. Robert, I'm not going to say who it was. I won't throw any shade. I just laughed when I saw it. Checking out the comments on YouTube here. So he was asking also the moisture level. So you got your question answered there right at the end of the broadcast. How about that? I answered your question before I even read it. Jeff is like, it is cold. I'm telling you. All right. So thanks again for you guys chiming in on YouTube. Rumble, I hope at some point we'll be able to get some live comments. And same thing for you guys on Twitter. I would hope that will happen soon. Facebook, let me go through here. I can scroll up. Let's see. Pretty good amounts. Let me just scroll through here and see. Let's see. Shay wanted some good news. 98 degrees and sunshine. Only if the band comes into town. It's about the way only that's going to happen. Let's see. Again, thanks for any of the stars you guys sent tonight. I do appreciate that. Or the stars you've sent over the last few days. Trust me, every one of them is accounted for and appreciated. All right. Joey's, I guess, isn't expensive anymore. True, it's not as bad as it was just a few months ago. It wasn't as good as it was in our peak heyday. I think it was almost 99 cents there at one point. Was it a couple years ago? I was like, whoa, can it really get that low? That was crazy. Let's see. And of course, I think most of us were under COVID, so we had nowhere to go. It was the totallest, biggest waste of the cheapest prices. Let's see. Henry has poor meteorology forecasts from other networks reduce property values in Oklahoma. That's hilarious. Well, now that I'm a realtor, I can look into that and get back to you. I can check that out. I can cross-reference it for local forecasts. James, Oklahoma's running firefighters watching. Holler. Let's see. Altus is in the house. All right. Well, I wish I could give you guys some snow down there, but maybe some flurries at most. That's about it. Cold and windy. So Whitney says, I don't have a far commute, but I've got blankets and a little jumper kit with a charger and water in the Jeep. Atta girl. Amanda says, nasty weather. Yes, it most certainly is. Would give it to us straight. What is the bread and milk ratio? It would be 0. 0 to 0. Not necessary. Remember that joke I posted like a week ago? When the talk was the blizzard, I was like, save your trip to the milk and bread and go hit the long underwear aisle. So it turns out that was a better call. That was a pretty good forecast, even though that was kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek style. Kim, thank you for the stars tonight. Appreciate it. Cheryl says, turn up the volume. Well, you're going to have to do that on your end. I'm maxed out on mine. Let's see. Jody says she's used to the snow and the wind chills. She wore her Canada Goose today, which actually I could have worn. I was wearing layers if you guys saw me at noon. I had 3 different layers on. I was warm, but I can't wait to try out the Canadian Goose and jacket and see exactly how warm I stay when I go outside and it's minus 25 wind chill. I'm going to try and do that little trick where you take hot boiling water in a pan, you just throw it up in the air and watch it freeze instantly and turn into a cloud of snow. I'm going to see if that works. We'll see. I've actually never done it. I don't think I have. If I have, I've forgotten. Let's put it that way. I'm getting up there in age, so no promises on the memory. Mandy says, this is why I waited for your forecast. No hype. Well, I'm glad to give it to you. Micah, I am done with the free trial of Canada. Let's move to Mexico. Sharon, thank you. You're welcome. Glad to have you. Let's see. By the way, if you guys missed last night, you missed Penelope and Larry. They did make a little appearance. Daphne with some stars tonight. Thank you very much. And then I am probably going to butcher your name, but I'm going to just take a second. Bahare? I'm probably not getting that right, but Bahare, I have never seen that name before. But thank you for the stars. Very nice of you. Let's see. And then, what else we have? Oh, Crystal's not getting notified. Remember, hit that link that I post, and you can get notified directly to me. But you will have to do the managed messages every few times. Otherwise, it'll drop you off. So it's kind of like a resubscription kind of a deal. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. It just comes from me. It's just a way to bypass the algorithms. Let's see. Yep, Ron, cold as usual. Carmen, Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you. And Kevin, we will hit the Tulsa area around midnight, coming from Edmond tomorrow night. So we will hit the Tulsa area around midnight. I don't know what part of that is, but for Edmond tomorrow night, you'll be fine. As long as you're here before 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's see. I'm trying to get through all your questions here. Clint, you're welcome. You'll be feeding cattle in a couple of days, and there's not much moisture. No, we had a good round, 5 days of some moisture, a couple weeks ago, and that really did help my yard because I had some cracks. You could see the core of the earth on one of them, and you could see China on the other. I didn't have to dig. I could just look. And that rain kind of sealed them back up for the most part, so that was good. Let's see. Catherine, my children, 17, 18, 19, are driving back to Enid from Kansas City on Christmas Day. Yep, Christmas Day is good to go. Can the wind cause enough friction to warm up the highways? Boy, wouldn't that be nice? What they can do sometimes, if the atmosphere is really dry with the winds, it will speed up the process of evaporation. So in other words, if you have a little bit of light icing, that will evaporate that moisture quicker than not. So that's about the best you can hope for in that situation. I hope to be toasty warm there, Mrs. Tuttle. Claude in the house, thank you. Good to see you. And Kevin says the boiling water trick works in Wisconsin. All right, I'm gonna let you know if it works here. I'm gonna do it in my yard, and we're gonna find out. I'll probably do a live video over it just to have a little fun with it. Let's see. So that was all the questions on Facebook. Let's see. And just remember to be careful if you are going to be out in this weather on Thursday. that's it for me. Guys, be careful, be good, be safe. And for those that are still going to be sticking around, I'll do another live here tomorrow. We'll see what the latest data shows. I don't expect any major changes, but you never know. And this is Oklahoma, and it is the weather. But you guys have been great. Thanks again for your support, your patronage, liking, sharing, commenting, shooting stars, subscribing to Facebook fans subscriptions or YouTube subscriptions or Subscribe Star. Anything else, how you'd like to support me is all appreciated. All right, you guys be good. Take care. See ya.